So today on Hertz Homestead, we're going to be going over how to make sure these little guys get big and tall and grow up. That's what we're most worried about with these guys. So I do a little bit of a different strategy when raising quail. A lot of people raise them in like a rabbit type hutch situation. They sell these big cages. I'll show pictures of that, what those look like. But I raise my quail in an open enclosure type deal. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so this is what my quail coop looks like. And they call these like chicken runs and stuff. And I just throw a tarp over and that's their house. As long as they're not getting rained on, these guys will live. So we'll put this guy back. He'll be free. So we had a hurricane a while back ago. And when that hurricane hit, we actually had a box inside the quail coop. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So when we were doing all this operation, it got destroyed. The hurricane destroyed this coop. I'll show a video of that, but it totally destroyed all this, and I was like, oh no. But I didn't realize how much I had a baby quail box in there. Kind of just made it up myself. I just took a shelf, an old shelf, and cut a hole in it, big enough for the baby quail to get in and out, away from the bigger quail. And I did this just because I was like, man, if they need to get away for a bit, baby quail have their own food and water. You know, there's something called the pecking order, where pretty much the most dominant bird will get in there, beat them up. Well, I found out that the quail would get to the point where they were killing the young because that box wasn't in there, and I didn't realize how much that box actually helped. Now, I'll take you inside and I'll actually show you one of the quail that got injured and that's recovering from this. But we lost about 4 or 5 quail in about a 2-3 day long span. And when I mean it was kind of gruesome, they got their whole faces packed off. So this is going to be kind of a gruesome thing to show you guys, but I'll show you what to look out for and how to raise them in a type of situation like this where you can just throw babies in there, they'll get accepted and they won't get attacked. Real quick, look at the beautiful patterns on this bird. Like, isn't that one gorgeous? This is my favorite quail right here. I would, honestly. I'm going to breed a whole bunch of these because I love the genetics of this and it's just beautiful. This quail was attacked to the point where the other quail ate her eye out, and the very back of her head, they gnawed it all the way down to the skull. Very, very gruesome, very, very bloody. My wife wanted me to put it out, but I think it had a shot, and it's definitely making a recovery. And as sad as that is, you know, because I want every single one of my birds to have a good life. This is a learning opportunity for me and you guys. So, yeah, pretty bad. So, don't stress her out any more than she needs to. So this is the box I actually raise. This is actually the box that I call my baby quail box. So they can run in here if they need to, get away from the other birds. And it doesn't take much of a big hole. Most important, I put bricks on top so it doesn't fly away. So my wooden one that was an old shelf, they never moved, which was kind of helpful. But I'll show you guys what's inside this and how I made this so you guys can replicate this. So you can just throw birds in there, not stress about them, and have their faces eaten off. So you can see right here, this has all been broken. This was broken naturally. But if you guys wanted to do this, you guys could just cut some circles in. Not so big where a big full-grown quail can get in, but just enough where the babies, when they're about 3-4 weeks old, they can get in. This is what about a 3-4 week old quail looks like. What they look like. Not that big. So, but we'll put their food and water in here so they can feel safe. And this is where all the baby quail run into, and they'll learn this is their home. And when I first introduced them into this chicken run or quail run, this is where they all go, so they know it's safe. And sometimes I'll even put a heat lamp or a heat pad or something in there, so if they get cold because they're a lot smaller than the bigger quail, this is a nice safe spot for them. And as they get older, I push this up against the wall, and I slowly move it out. And this is one of those things you learn as you get into quail. How far out it needs to be, or the bigger quail getting in and bothering them. So it's just something you need to stay attentive of. Another thing I've learned through this experience is the sides of the quail coop. If I were you guys, man, you attacking me? Quail's pecking my foot. I own you. So the sides, the quail will actually dig holes in, and try to dig out and under. They don't mean to do this. They just like to dig. That's what their nature is. They like the dust and they fluff it up and get it into their feathers. So I try to move these guys pretty frequently to keep the parasite level down. I've never had any problem with parasites or diseases in this type of setup. And I'm probably holding about 50 quail in here currently. I'll give you guys a 360. So this mistake in quail keeping, since I've owned quail, was actually a really weird mistake. I had a huge bucket like the one I just showed you, the tub, just the plastic tubs. And I put about 30-40 birds in there into 2 different tubs, and I moved it inside. If they are close together and they can't get away from each other, they will cook each other in their own body heat. And so that was a really bothersome thing to find out, is that I cooked my own quail in their own body heat, and it was really sad because a lot of them had names, and it was sad. What I suggest going with this setup from the beginning, so I like this setup a lot, especially because I just get up, move it. They could eat the grass, the bugs, and then I feel like that gives me a better quality of meat, because if I have too many males, I butcher them off and I eat them. And the eggs, I also find that my quail eggs have better quality than most other people's. So, and I also don't really have to clean this. Like I put them in a dog kennel now where I have more ventilation, less birds in each, so I got a bunch of kennels. And I put them in that bucket. I move this. They have all fresh grass. You can't beat that. Like, giving these guys their kind of the natural environment, what they're kind of supposed to be in, is a good thing to do. So if you guys enjoyed this video and have any questions, please leave them down below, and I'll answer all of them. I'm always down to answer questions. Yeah, we're about to get monetized, so that's exciting. And yeah, enjoy homesteading.